Good afternoon. This is Schweitzer, and this is a quick little video on how do I track my grade. Alright, so what happens here is inside of a chapter. Now this should be in your workbook, and the whole goal of, in my opinion, a grade is that you should be able to calculate out your grade at all times. Now, again, you can obviously look at online, and you can look at the online program provided, which in our case is Skyward. But of course, teachers have to put things in, and we don't want it to be super complicated that you can't figure it out. So inside of a chapter, this is AP Chemistry, year would be 2020. So, things change in this unusual year, but what do we have? So we have here is we have quizzes. Every chapter has a quizzes. Okay, so atomic structure is our first chapter. In fact, our first test encompasses two standards of atomic structure and bonding. No big deal. All right, but with that being said, we'll have quizzes. So now you know here there are two quizzes. There's two spots here. So I have two quizzes right here. What do those mean? Well, you can only get on a quiz, all right, you can get a 3 to a 1. You can't get a 4 on a quiz, just FYI. But that being said, these quizzes do not affect your overall grade. Okay. Now, let's say you get a 3 on this quiz. Okay. That's what we call this. To literally call this just quiz 1. So I'm sorry here. There's only one quiz. It's quiz 1. There's two quizzes total in that chapter. So let's say you get a 3 on this guy, but you get a 2 on this one. Okay. Now all this means is that when you take your test, quizzes must be all proficient for test retake eligibility. So retaking quizzes is not necessarily a punishment. It's an opportunity for you to retry it again. And in my opinion, these tests can be difficult, and sometimes retaking quizzes is just a really helpful way for preparing for tests. So let's say you took your atomic structure test, okay, and on this thing there's just this test, and let's say you get a 3 on this guy, okay, well that's great, okay, that's fine, but you get a 2 on the bonding, so you're going to get individual grades on these things, okay. Now the test itself will have a multiple choice section, and it'll have a written section, and then you add those two sections together and you get your total, and then you place it on sort of a scale. Our scale in chapter learning, we're just learning it, we're fresh with it. Typically a 1 is about 50%. So then we go about 75, this is approximations, and it changes by the test. Would be about 75%, and it just kind of goes up from there. I don't want to say exactly what it is, but we'll deal with that a little bit. It's all preset, typically speaking. Okay, so now time goes on, and like, okay, well, I just got a 2 on this guy. All right, well, do you need to retake that right now? Well, you don't want to retake it yet, because you're going to have a secondary event that's going to happen here. Okay, so all of a sudden we move along to our third chapter. Our third chapter is standard 4, states of matter. Okay, so states of matter, let's say you get a 4 on. Okay, now you took quizzes here. There's 3 quizzes here. Let's say you get a 3, a 3, and maybe you get a 1. Okay. Again, you are not eligible to retake the states of matter test, but you study hard and you get a 4. Okay. Now you took us along with this test. There's going to be 2 other standards. There's going to be a standard 2 on here, and there's going to be a standard 3, and you get a 3 on this guy. You can just fill it in, and we're going to hopefully remind you just to fill in your grades as you go. Fill in your test scores as you go. This is in your workbook on the inside cover. And of course you get a 2 on this guy. Okay. Now, we sort of completed the cycle for these guys. So that means that you have a 2 on this thing. So right now, here, according to the standard school policies of this year, okay, this is what they have for their option here. Now, to get an A in this class, you simply have to have a 3 or better in every piece. Okay. Now again, every quiz matters. Okay, because if you want to retake this, there's something you got to do first. You got to retake these quizzes. Okay. Now, it is highly suggested, okay, that when you take a quiz, you immediately retake the quiz. Okay? Don't wait for yourself to get a 2 on a test. Okay? You get on that right away and retake this. Even though, again, we're here not for the grade. We're here for you. Okay? You are here for you. You're investing in yourself. And all this class is an investment in yourself. So, and to retake this test, we don't start retakes until the last week of the semester. Okay? That's one problem with this setup. Okay? People don't like it as much, but you gotta get used to it. You know your grade. So in December, typically speaking, I should say that January. So Christmas is done, December has now been finished. So now this test you took maybe in end of September. Now it's December 30th comes around, December 31st, we're back from the holidays. All right, it's now the new year, January 1st, and I have made announcements that I'm opening tests up between, hypothetically, the first and the second week of January. Now, again, there's a remediation packet you have to do. Remediation packet must be completed. Those will be provided. And lo and behold, you have to have a 3 on this, okay, in order to retake it. So, that being said, okay, every single time you take something, it counts. And unlike what I like about this system here is that every time you get a score, it counts, meaning that, okay, you got a 4 on this thing. So does that help you to get a 4? Absolutely, it helps you. Because now, look at the secondary event. You're going to take the secondary event in the equilibrium chapters, okay? So you take this test, you get a 3, and you get up. You say, okay, oh man, I got a 2 on this one. Well, this still averages to a 3. So you need your averages to average to a 3 in every single one, okay? Now, that being said, I'm just showing you the standard school protocol about how you calculate your grade. Okay? The lab blocks will have the same thing. Okay, so now they're not filled in. The lab blocks don't. There's a write-up of some stuff. So we will be looking more at that as that happens. Okay, but essentially every single semester. Okay, so every single semester. So semester 1. You have 5 standards. You have standard, there's these 4 standards right here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have a lab standard. That's 5 standards. And then you have the second semester, you also have 5 standards. Okay, so this is the second semester. There's kinetics. We actually do kinetics in December. Okay, we test on it. So that being said, we end our chapter pretty quick, our semester pretty quick. And then we have 3 more left and a lab block. Okay, now here's lab block 1, lab block 2. There's typically 3 lab blocks. Okay, and we'll likely have multiple scores within the lab block. So we're hoping to average to a 3. Okay, so how does the retakes work? Typically speaking, Okay, so we have a retake period that is going to be in, right around January. And then we have another, that's retake number 1. You can retake test standard number 4, standard number 3, standard number 2, and standard number 11, which is equilibrium. These are the 4 chapters we do in the first semester. Okay, and then in May, just before the AP test, all right, we use retakes as a tool to help us, once again, get ready for that test. So now you can do all the first 4 from the first semester if you still need to. And occasionally, we still have 1 or 2 people that are kicking, biting, scratching, clawing to get all 3s. You don't. There will be multiple. There are 3 different ways you can score an A in this class, but this is the most foolproof one, and this is the school policy. But you also are eligible for the 4 in the beginning and the 4 in the end. So technically, we have 8 of these guys that can be retaken at this point. So let's say you got in semester 1, you got yourself a B, and it's printed in your credit on your grade report. So that means, let's say you got a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 4. Okay. Now at this point, okay, your grade is averaging to a 3, and Skyward will make that thing an A, but I will cross it off and put a B down because you have a 2. All right. And you get a B. Well, that means that, okay, and people ask questions all the time, so if you're listening, what if you retake that guy and you retake and you still get a 2? Okay, so typically that retake here, if you retook it and got a 3, this just crosses out, becomes a 3. But if you don't get a 3, all right, stays at a 2, you still got a 2, I mean you still are struggling with this thing, then you got a B for the semester. Well, then in May, you retake it again. Okay, you took standard number 2 over once again. Has this happened? Yes. Again, this is the real reason why we're really trying to retake our quizzes right away to make sure you got the material. Don't wait till May. All right, so you took it again, and finally you got a 3. Okay, how does that affect your semester 1 grade? Well, I can go back on the computer and I just take that B out and I put an A in. An A. Okay? So this is kind of the process. And the more times actually you retake something, the more times you have an opportunity to run it through your brain, the more it's going to stick into your brain. Either way, hopefully that makes the grading process relatively clear. Okay? These things are up to you, but you know something, if someone comes up to me and that, on standardized grading, it's different classes are different, and some of them are more complicated than others. I hope this is relatively simple. We have essentially, for the chapters, you get 8 grades a semester. That's it. You get 2, 4, 6, 8, and some lab grades. So, and that's standard 0. So all you gotta do is track your 8 grades. Okay. You don't want 2s. Any questions, please let me know. Thank you.